When the flower blooms, the bees come uninvited. The winds of God's grace are always blowing. It is for us to raise our sails. Faith is the root of all spiritual practice, and once a person has faith, he has achieved everything. It is not by reasoning that the Lord is attained, but by simple faith and love. Longing is the one thing needed. Through it, God is found. Whoever wants God intensely finds Him. Go and verify it in your own life. Longing is like the rosy dawn. After the dawn out comes the sun. Longing is followed by the vision of God. The child cries longingly, and the mother takes it in her arms. Do not seek illumination unless you seek it as a man whose hair is on fire seeks a pond. Pray to Him any way you like. He can even hear the footfall of an ant. As you pray to Him, so you will see Him. Don't dig shallow wells in many places. Dig deep in one place, and you will get water. The fabled musk deer searches the world over for the source of the scent, which comes from itself. We laugh at the efforts of the musk deer to find the source of the scent which comes from itself, and despair at our efforts to find the peace which is our essence. If diving once does not bring you pearls, you need not therefore conclude that the sea is without them. If you must be mad, be it not for the things of the world. Be mad with the love of God. He is born in vain, who having attained the human birth, so difficult to get, does not attempt to realize God in this very life. People weep buckets for wife and children, for money and property, but who weeps for God? Wisdom leads to unity, but ignorance to separation. So long as God seems to be outside and far away, there is ignorance. But when God is realized within, that is true knowledge. The fool who repeats again and again, I am bound, remains in bondage. He who repeats day and night, I am a sinner, becomes a sinner indeed. When the mind is still, the beauty of the self is seen. If the mirror is clean, you see your face clearly. So if the mind is pure, you see God. The waves belong to the water. Does the water belong to the waves? All troubles come to an end when the ego dies, and as long as you say, I, you cannot see God. When the fruit appears, the blossom drops off. Love of God is the fruit, and rituals are the blossom. It is on account of the ego that one is not able to see God. In front of the door of God's mansion lies the stump of ego. One cannot enter the mansion without jumping over the stump. Spirituality automatically leads to humility. When a flower develops into a fruit, the petals drop off on its own. When one becomes spiritual, the ego vanishes gradually on its own. The truth is that you cannot attain God if you have even a trace of desire. Subtle is the way of Dharma. The tree laden with fruits always bends low. If you wish to be great, be lowly and meek. As for me, I consider myself as a speck of the dust of the devotee's feet. One cannot attain divine knowledge till one gets rid of pride. Water does not stay on the top of a mound, but into low land it flows in torrents from all sides. The compassion that you see in the kind-hearted is God's compassion. He has given it to them to protect the helpless. Bhakti is the one essential thing. To be sure, God exists in all beings. Who, then, is a devotee? He whose mind dwells on God. But this is not possible as long as one has egotism and vanity. The water of God's grace cannot collect on the high mound of egotism. It runs down. Sunlight is one and the same wherever it falls, but only a bright surface like that of water or of a mirror reflects it fully. So is the light divine. It falls equally and impartially on all hearts, but the pure and pious hearts of holy men receive and reflect that light well. Forgiveness is the true nature of the ascetic, and whatever you wish from others, begin by doing it yourself. God is everywhere, but he is most manifest in man. So serve man as God. That is as good as worshiping God. Men are like pillowcases. The color of one may be red, that of another blue, and that of the third black, but all contain the same cotton within. So it is with man. One is beautiful, another is ugly, a third holy, and a fourth wicked, but the divine being dwells in them all. One man may read the Bhagavata by the light of a lamp, and another may commit a forgery by that very light. But the lamp is unaffected. The sun sheds its light on the wicked, as well as on the virtuous. The more you love God, the more you will love others, for God dwells in all beings. God has created the world and play, so have love for everyone, for no one is other than you. So many religions, so many paths to reach the one and the same goal. All religions are true, for many rivers flow by different ways, but all fall into the same sea. God can be realized through all paths. The important thing is to reach the roof. You can reach it by stone stairs, or by wooden stairs, or by bamboo steps, or by a rope. You can also climb up by a bamboo pole. I had to practice each religion for a time: Hinduism, Islam, Christianity. Furthermore, I followed the paths of the Kaitas, Vaishnavas, and Vedtists. I realized that there is only one God toward whom all are traveling, but the paths are different. Truth is one, only it is called by different names. All people are seeking the same truth. The variance is due to climate, temperament, and name. A lake has many ghats. He who is called Krishna is also Siva and the primal Sakti. He again, who is called Jesus and Allah. Truth is one. One should not think, my religion alone is the right path and other religions are false. God can be realized by means of all paths. It is enough to have sincere yearning for God. Infinite are the paths and infinite are the opinions. If there are errors in other religions, that is none of our business. God, to whom the world belongs, takes care of that. Travel in all the four quarters of the earth. You will find nothing, no true religion anywhere. Whatever there is only here that is in one's own heart. When the divine vision is attained, all appear equal, and there remains no distinction of good and bad, or of high and low. The ordinary man says in his ignorance, "My religion is the sole religion. My religion is the best." But when his heart is illuminated by the true knowledge, he knows that beyond all the battles of sects and of sectaries presides the one indivisible, eternal, and omnipresent benediction. If you want to go east, don't go west. Finish the few duties you have at hand, and then you will have peace. Do all your duties, but keep your mind on God. An ocean of bliss may rain down from the heavens, but if you hold up only a thimble, that is all you receive. To work without attachment is to work without the expectation of reward or fear of punishment in this world or the next. Work done in this way is a means to the end, and God is that end. The magnetic needle always points to the north, and hence it is that sailing vessel does not lose her direction. So long as the heart of man is directed towards God, he cannot be lost in the ocean of worldliness. Live in the world like a waterfall. The water clings to the bird, but the bird shakes it off. Live in the world like a mudfish. The fish lives in the mud, but its skin is always bright and shiny. Remain in the world, but be not of it. A boat may stay in water, but water should not stay in the boat. A spiritual aspirant may live in the world, but the world should not live within him. Live in the world like a maidservant in a rich man's house. She does all her work, but her mind is fixed on her own home. As a boy holding to a post or a pillar whirls about it with headlong speed without any fear of falling, so perform your worldly duties, fixing your hold firmly upon God, and you will be free from danger. A devotee who can call on God while living a householder's life is a hero indeed. God thinks, "He is blessed indeed who prays to me in the midst of his worldly duties." He is trying to find me, overcoming a great obstacle, pushing away, as it were, a huge block of stone weighing a ton. Such a man is a real hero. The young bamboo can be easily bent, but the full-grown bamboo breaks when it is bent with force. It is easy to bend the young heart towards God, but the untrained heart of the old escapes the hold whenever it is so drawn. Many good sayings are to be found in holy books, but merely reading them will not make one religious. Too much study of the Scriptures does more harm than good. The important thing is to know the essence of the Scriptures. After that, what is the need of books? One should learn the essence and then dive deep in order to realize God. Books, scriptures, and things like that only point out the way to reach God. After finding the way, what more need is there of books and scriptures? Then comes the time for action. What is the use of merely listening to lectures when the real thing is practice? It is easy to talk about religion, but difficult to put it into practice. Common men talk bagfuls of religion, but do not practice even a grain of it. The wise man speaks a little, even though his whole life is religion expressed in action. You may say 1,000 times, I am free, but the moment you get a blow, you forget all your philosophy. Many people think they cannot have knowledge or understanding of God without reading books. But hearing is better than reading, and seeing is better than hearing. Love for God is the essence of all religions. Unalloyed love of God is the essential thing. All else is unreal. You are born as a human being only to attain divine love. The supreme purpose and goal for human life is to cultivate love. So long as the bee is outside the petals of the lily and has not tasted the sweetness of its honey, it hovers around the flower emitting the buzzing sound. But when it is inside the flower, it noiselessly drinks the nectar. So long as a man quarrels and disputes about doctrines and dogmas, he has not tasted the nectar of true faith. When he has tasted it, he becomes quiet and full of peace. Make your meditation a continuous state of mind. A great worship is going on all the time, so nothing should be neglected or excluded from your constant meditative awareness. If a white cloth is stained even with a small spot, the stain appears very ugly indeed. So the smallest fault of a holy man becomes painfully prominent. Those whose spiritual awareness has been awakened never make a false move. They don't have to avoid evil. They are so replete with love that whatever they do is a good action. They are fully conscious that they are not the doer of their actions, but only servants of God. How dare you talk of helping the world? God alone can do that. First, you must be made free from all sense of self. Then the Divine Mother will give you a task to do. You speak of doing good to the world. Is the world such a small thing? And who are you, pray, to do good to the world? First realize God. See Him by means of spiritual discipline. If He imparts power, you can do good to others. Otherwise not. Can He rectify false weight, whose own scales are uncertain? Can you enlighten your neighbor while you yourself have no light? God is in all men, but all men are not in God. That is why we suffer. It is not lust alone that one should be afraid of in the life of the world. There is also anger. Anger arises when obstacles are placed in the way of desire. The world is impermanent, so one should constantly remember death. Lust and greed are the root of all troubles. Disease is the tax which the soul pays for the body, as the tenant pays house rent for the use of the house. It is very pleasant to scratch an itching ringworm, but the sensation one gets afterwards is very painful and intolerable. In the same way, the pleasures of this world are very attractive in the beginning, but their consequences are terrible to contemplate and hard to endure. A bath in Ganges undoubtedly absolves one of all sins. But what does that avail? They say that the sins perch on trees along the banks of the Ganges. No sooner does the man come back from the holy waters that the old sins jump on his shoulders from the trees. The same old sins take possession of him again. He is hardly out of the waters before they fall upon him. When an unbaked pot is broken, the potter can use the mud to make a new one. But when a baked one is broken, he cannot do the same any longer. So when a person dies in a state of ignorance, he is born again. But when he becomes well baked in the fire of true knowledge and dies a perfect man, he is not born again. When the head of a goat is severed from its body, the trunk struggles for some time, still showing signs of life. Similarly, though Ahamkara egotism is slain in the perfect man, yet enough of its vitality is left to make him carry on the functions of physical life. But it is not sufficient to bind him again into the world. Men bound hand and foot in the endless chain of cause and effect cannot free each other. Imagine a limitless expanse of water, above and below, before and behind, right and left. Everywhere there is water. In that water is placed a jar filled with water. There is water inside the jar and water outside, but the jar is still there. The I is the jar. As a piece of rope, when burnt, retains its form, but cannot serve to bind, so is the ego which is burnt by the fire of supreme knowledge. Dislodging a green nut from its shell is almost impossible, but let it dry and the lightest tap will do it. The vanities of all others may gradually die out, but the vanity of a saint regarding his sainthood is hard indeed to wear away. The waves belong to the Ganges, not the Ganges to the waves. A man cannot realize God unless he gets rid of all such egotistic ideas as, I am such an important man, or I am so and so. Level the mound of I to the ground by dissolving it with tears of devotion. God alone is the doer. We are but his instruments. Do not blame the world, blame yourself, and be sincere. A man is truly free, even here in this embodied state, if he knows that God is the true agent and he by himself is powerless to do anything. Travel in all the four quarters of the earth, yet you'll find nothing anywhere. Whatever there is only here. Honor both spirit and form, the sentiment within as well as the symbol without. You see many stars in the sky at night, but not when the sun rises. Can you therefore say that there are no stars in the heavens during the day? As the shell, the pith, and the kernel of the fruit are all produced from one parent seed of the tree, so from the one Lord is produced the whole of creation, animate and inanimate, spiritual and material. How long do small girls play with their dolls? As long as they are not married and do not live with their husbands. After marriage, they put the dolls away in a box. What further need is there of worshiping the image after the vision of God? These people are like a frog living in a well who has never seen the outside world. He knows only his well, so he will not believe that there is such a thing as the world. Likewise, people talk so much about the world because they have not known the joy of God. No one can say with finality that God is only this and nothing else. He is formless, and again he has forms. For the Bhakta, he assumes forms. But he is formless for the Jnani, that is, for him who looks on the world as a mere dream. Dwell, O mind, within yourself. Enter no other's home. If you but seek there, you'll find all you're searching for. God, the true philosopher's stone, who answers every prayer, lies hidden deep within your heart, the richest gem of all. How many pearls and precious stones are scattered all about the outer court that lies before the chamber of your heart. The grace of God is a wind which is always blowing. All will surely realize God and be liberated. Though some receive their meal in the morning, some at noon, and some in the evening, none will go without food. All, without exception, will certainly know their real self. Great men have the nature of a child. So long as one does not become simple like a child, one does not receive divine illumination. Forget all worldly knowledge you have acquired, and like a child, then you will receive divine wisdom. Little children play with dolls in the outer room, just as they like, without any care of fear or restraint. But as soon as their mother comes in, they throw aside their dolls and run to her crying, "Mama, Mama, you too are now playing in this material world, infatuated with the dolls of wealth, honor, fame, etc. If, however, you once see your divine mother, you will not afterwards find pleasure in all these. Throwing them all aside, you will run to her